you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today, I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing Noxus map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the north, ending with Team 2 in the south. Starting off with Team 1's southeastern player, working our way clockwise around their lineup. We have in orange, the color orange for Team 1, MSG. He is a Cybran, and he is a 1700. To his north is the one and only UEF here for Team 1. He is Sweet. He is in Chevy Crimson as an 1800. And to his west, as another Cybran for Team 1, is the Royal Blue player of Mythologist. He is a 1200. And continuing on westward, we have in Imperial Gray, Yoji as another Cybran for Team 1. He is a 2000 rated player, the highest rated player on Team 1. And last but not least here for Team 1 in Forest Green is Ramper as a fourth Cybran for Team 1. He is a 1500. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 4 Cybrans and 1 UEF, which means Team 1 lacks Aeon and Seraphim technology. Starting off with Team 2's northwestern player, working our way counterclockwise around their lineup, we have in Amethyst Purple, Zum as a Seraphim. He is a 1500. And to his south end, Ruby Red is Okpuk as a UEF. He is a 1900 for his team. And to his east, in Regal Purple, is Puck Jr. He is an Aeon, and he is a 1300. And in Batman Gray to his east is the the Aeon commander of Luker. He is a 2100, the highest rated player on Team 2 and in the game overall. And last but not least for Team 2, another Aeon. He's already on the move. To his north in Forest Green is XXX-AFK-XXX. Of course, I'm going to call him AFK for short. And again, he is a 1400 in Emerald Green. So for Team 2 side of the map, they have 3 Aeons, 1 Seraphim, and 1 UEF. Team 2 lacks Cybran technology. Team 1 lacks Aeon and Seraphim technology. And for 10 players on the map, let's take a look at how much reclaim they have to scoop up. Currently sitting at 9,000 mass. Not a whole lot. Definitely a little bit less than I would like for a 10 player game, not a 10v10. But that's about 900 mass per player. We do see there's a decent clumping here in the west and in the east, offset by this mountain range square thingamajig in the middle of the map. And for Team 2's side of the map, let's take a look at their mass points. There's a quad mech position over here and another one back here. We also see a tri-mech position and nice little twin mechs as well. And besides that, I guess there's another tri-mech position as well being shared by 2 players on Team 2. With that, I mean, there's a decent amount of mechs to grab in the second line. You have the, essentially the main base line, the second line, and then the front line, which players are already fighting over. So let's go ahead and check that out. There obviously are one-offs in the middle of the map with a couple tri-mexes, again, offset next to that group of Rex. And to the west, it is Team 1's Ramper and Yoji facing off against Zum, who has been forced out of that reclaim field. To the east, we have AFK versus MSG. That reclaim field is already gone. We do see that it's a 2v1 in favor of Team 1 as well. So it's a 2v1 in the west, looking like a 3v1 in the west, for Team 1, versus a 2v2 on the cards here for Team 2 versus Team 1. So a little bit better engagement for Team 2 on the eastern side than the western side, specifically with units from Luca using that mountainside to get in around these comms for Team 1, but there is Swee moving into intercept, and those units will be stopped from incurring any further, these new units. We do see speed and range has been started for MSG's commander, and T2 in the west for Zum has been started. Unfortunately for Team 1 Zum, he can easily be overwhelmed by Team 1's forces. And we see Rampir right next door to him. We do see, of course, Yoji with that Trimex position under control, and Mythologist hanging out next to him. Who very easily could just swarm him. We do see that now Puck Jr. is moving into intercept, as well as Okpuk. So these 3 players on Team 2 moving in to assist. Gun speed and range has been started for Yoji's commander. And of course that gun upgrade is still going on for MSG. We do see that AFK and Luker going off against Swee. Swee being forced back and is dropped into the yellow. Luker still holding strong though. We do see AFK is going to continue to push in and gain some sort of territory, maybe try to go for that max, but it looks like he's going to fall back and hang out with his teammate of Luca. And I feel like I'm going to split things for now because there's definitely two main engagements going on. Of course, the west and the east. Kind of the edges of said west and east don't really have a lot going for them. Players are just stacking units up just to make sure there's no run-by opportunities, but there's not really a lot of action happening. The main focus with the commanders is towards the middle of the map. We do see that range and speed upgrade for Yoji is done, as well as for MSG. So Team 1 has 2 gun comms online simultaneously. We do see that there are a little bit of poking and prodding going over here on this eastern side here. A couple of this Mantis going after these Aurora. Aurora have better range, but of course have weaker amounts of hit points on board. Rampur has going for his speed and range upgrade. Back here, though, he's not building it, or at least upgrading a little bit further than he pretty much can. We do see that Yoji and Mythologist are moving in. They might be going after Zum, and yes, they are. Akpuck moving in, and Puck Jr. as well. This will be a clash of some Titans over here to the west here for Team 1 and Team 2. Sui and MSG forcing back Luca and AFK. They are retreating behind more friendly units. We do see that on the western side here, while the upgrade has been going, we do see that Rampur is sending his forces to go after Zum. That upgrade here for Zum will finish, but he will take a decent amount of damage to his chest plate. We do see that Puck Jr., like I said, and Akpuck are moving in to intercept. Yoji has gun, Mythologist does not. It's currently 2v2, but Puck Jr. will make that a better engagement for Team 2 with adding a third comm to the mix. And those forces for Rampur have been dealt with by Zum. And in the east, continuing to retreat in both the edge of the east and on the edge of the east and the middle east. We do see that Team 2 is being forced back by a lot of pressure from Team 1. Team 1 is really trying to keep Team 2 bottlenecked, or at least forced into this little corner here, which will naturally encourage Team 2's side on the western side to try to push in and kind of create this kind of clockwise kind of loop around the map. More attacks coming in here from MSG. He's just continuing to mount the pressure. He's not letting Team 2 get any sort of break. Range has been started for Luca's commander, and we do see that damage has been started for Sui's commander as well. Don't know why the upgrades are not on my second screen over here, on my split screen, so that's interesting. So I might have to just back up for a second just to look at the upgrades. Upgrade here for Mythologist is going down, and we do see that Puck Jr.'s forces are moving in and pushing back Yoji's position. He did have a couple of mexes here, but his comms have already retreated him, and his teammates have retreated. Team 2 is starting to gain territory on this western side. So like I said, Team 2 is gaining losing territory in the east and gaining in the west, and the vice versa is the case for Team 1. But I think at this point I can end the split. Not really a lot of comm-on-comm engagements currently happening, so it's not a huge issue if I go back to this main screen. T2 units now emerging here for Luca in the east, trying to again force back Team 1, who has gained a ton of territory. There is this Trimex position over here that's still holding on. There's one facility and a nice little Team 1 PD, but that's not going to last very much longer with Guncom of MSG and Guncom of Luca online as well. AFK still bringing up the rate of assist. You probably should go for some sort of upgrade, speed or range or both, or even just go for advanced range. Just try to help out his teammate in that regard. Sui has gun and is going for nano as we speak. We do see that Mythologist still doesn't have an upgrade of his own, and we do see that Yoji still only has the gun. T2, of course, is making its way on the front line here for Zum, using that to get some PD to secure his position and shore up defenses on the western side of the west. And nano repair is now done. Bomber outbound going after MSG, barely misses him, but gets a little splash damage on that commander. He is in the yellow. Just be a little bit careful with how far he pushes in, but look at this. Look at all these beautiful, beautiful labs, these little mech marines here for Sui. They aren't the hunters that I used in my campaign video a couple of days ago, but of course they are the labs nonetheless. Love to see them swarm. They're like the Zerglings from StarCraft. You're just swarming your opponent. But T2 units forcing back Sui over here. Of course, he does have nano, which will help him survive this encounter. Luca going for shield as we speak, but Sui now emboldened a little bit with this attack outbound is going to continue to push in against Team 2. AFK, again, still doesn't have any upgrades, and on a 1v1 fight will severely be at the disadvantage here against his opponent of Sui. We do see in the west, gun has been started for Zum. We do see that Puck Jr. again Akbuk still slowly pushing in with that help on this western side. Team 1 has fallen back. Stealth coming online. Rampir already has Stealth. And Stealth already online for Mythologist, then we'll go for Gun. So all of these Cyber Commanders in the west going for, of course, the same upgrades, because there's really only a few different sets of upgrades that you would go for in this scenario. Either the Cloaking and Laser and Gun, or the Laser, the Gun, and the Teleport. That's really the only two big. I mean, you could go for T2, T3. You could go for that. But usually, it's the Laser that makes his biggest impact, of course, on the Cyber side of things. Luker underneath shield coverage, holding off Sui. He has the shield upgrade online. Probably go for advanced range if he can. Gun has been started for AFK, going for the range first. Large groups of Team 1 units augmented by T2 forces outbound from the orange color orange player of MSG. He's getting an upgrade. Actually, no, it looks like he's just getting some more regen and trying to get back into the green, which he has. He should probably go for Nano if he's going to be that aggressive like his teammate of Sui has. But large groups of Team 1 forces and a couple of the T2 are building up here for both teams. We see a lot of missile launchers, these Vipers outbound here again. Zum going after the PD emplacements for him. He really needs to get his TMD and shields online. The annoying thing about those Vipers is that if the missile is shot down, they still split anyways. So some damage is done, not all the damage, but some of it. But Luker, now with the shield online and some more T2 forces going after Sui's comm. Sui's going to start dropping into the yellow, which he has. Reinforcements from MSG are moving into intercept and assist. And now Luker kind of face down with no one by his side. It will have to be forced back. Rhino's moving into the picture here for MSG to assist. Couple of forces have retreated, so Luker has some reinforcements to call upon, but not that many. AFK is moving in with his gun speed and range commander, going to try to assist. The shield for Luker is about to fall. The only reason he's pretty much still alive is because that shield is active, but not for long. Gets back into the green, just barely. Reinforcements now coming in around the other side of this little hillside here. AFK blapping those away very quickly. A lot of Team 1 forces. Again, a couple of T2 tanks will be the main damage dealers, but with all of this Mantis spam, it's not feeling good here for Luker here. It might be a murder-suicide AFK if he focuses on Sui. It could be a double kill here, one for each team. Luker is dropping into the red, white, very quickly here. Excuse me, there he goes, if I can speak correctly. Sui will survive the explosion, and AFK is in the red. It could be a double kill here. If AFK drops below 2,500, or if Sui does, it will be a double kill. And there it is. 3 comms back to back to back here for this match at 13:37 seconds, or Elite being the speech there. It is a huge, huge loss here for both teams. Team 1 losing the 1,800 of Sui, and Team 2 losing the 2,100 of Luker and the 1,400 of AFK, dropping this game to a 4v3 in favor of Team 2. And yeah, that was just kind of a death on all sides kind of thing. Once one comm dropped below, I said like 5,000 hit points and then 2,500 hit points. That's pretty much it. We do see that some attacks outbound from Akbuk trying, well, I guess gifted over to Akbuk, have been stopped because they've been, of course, transferred over by the deaths of some comms. They being, of course, AFK and Luker. Now we'll see a huge shift. I wouldn't be surprised to see Akbuk maybe gain control of this base from Puck Jr. Actually, he probably transferred it over to Puck Jr. So each of these players in the rear has 2 bases now. Their ecos have essentially, quote-unquote, doubled. In terms of the generated overall, Team 1 at 300, Team 2 at 330. So Team 1 is not far behind Team 2 in that regard. A nice little PD base is starting to form and deter any sort of incoming forces from Team 2's attacks or probes or scouts or whatever you want to call it. Zum is being severely forced back here by just the hordes of missile launchers outbound from Rampir, but we see some reinforcements for him. Some Ilshis have made their appearance. Yoji forcing his way forward, or he's trying to, with some of his Rhinos and other Mantis. Unfortunately, those Ilshis are very annoying to deal with, and they will definitely assist with all of that firepower from Team 1. Air power is starting to make his appearance here for both teams. Team 2 is at T3 stage. A couple of Harbingers have been dropped by Team 1's Puck Jr. and have gone after this base here for Yoji. Has lost 3 of his 4 core mexes. Definitely devastating here for Team 1. Has dropped the eco back under 300, and those Harbingers will barely get out of range of those PD that were built up very, very quickly here. Great grab here by Team 2. And we'll slow it down. The T3, I think that was the T3 land headquarters. Yeah, it's gone. That is a huge loss for Yoji. Has to rebuild up to T3. You see that T3 air is online for Mythologist, and T2 almost T3 online for MSG. So 2 players going for air for Team 1 so far. Team 2 with, let's see, that is Okpuk on dual bases. He essentially is 2 players on air, but he's trying, of course, splitting his focus between land and air, sending out some sniper bots to again assist with dealing with some probing attacks from Team 1. And it's really shaping up to be a very, not necessarily one-sided affair for the eastern side, but the remaining 3 players on Team 2, all of their comms are on this western side. There's no one directing the attack on this eastern side here for Team 2, which will give the advantage ever so slightly to Team 1 in that regard. But of course, with 1 player gone over here for Team 1, it does lose the APM a little bit, but not by much. We do see, again, forces outbound from Team 1. Yoji and Rampart are pushing in. They do have stealth on board those commanders, so it makes it a little bit harder for Team 2 to detect them. But if Vision can see them, then they can see where those commanders are. Zum is moving in. He has Nano Gun and T2 facing off against a Brick and a couple of bangers outbound from Yoji. Both of those comms obviously have gun, but one has Nano, one does not. And Yoji will start feeling the pain here as Zum reps up hit points. But Zum is being forced back here. Yoji is still in range, but Team 2 can't see him because he's not in visual contact range. We do see a lot of Team 1 units outbound. It looks like Yoji is just going for the kill. I feel like this is a mistake here. Large groups of forces are inbound. Gunships are also inbound. There are a couple of T3 units nearby, which means those gunships will be forced back. At least AA forces or AA units nearby. But all of these Aurora are inbound. And I feel like Team 2 has the opportunity to go for a kill. ASF's moving in to protect those gunships. Looks like, of course, the main goal is to go after the AA units and then push in. But Yoji will be forced back with Rampart. Team 2 has lost a little bit of territory in that exchange, especially in the east now with the attack is outbound. They're trying to attack front at the same time. Good communication skills and good planning here by Team 1. This base is dead and gone, and there's a huge hole in defenses that Team 2 needs to plug, because this is going to continue to barrel down on top of them. Bear down, not barrel. Yeah, bear down. I don't know why I'm thinking about barrels. But those T3 broadswords are inbound. I don't see any AA units. A couple of interceptors, but really the AA on board the gunships will be plenty fine. And here come to the rescue here is Okpuk. Those loyalists are being dealt with very quickly here. There's no bricks. Again, a very rapid deployment force here for Team 1, but not really a lot of hit points on board. Gives a little bit of veterancy for those gunships, but of course staves off huge disaster. But large sections of the eco for Team 2, at least on this eastern side, are gone, and it does open the door for Team 1 to exploit it once again. On the western side of things, Zum pushing back once again, and again it's facing off against that whole T3 brick wall that is starting to form here for Rampart, as well as a couple of stealth commanders that are very hard to deal with. A couple of AA units nearby that I thought were here trying to deal with these jesters, which they now have dealt with. Looked like they all missed their initial shots, which was strange because they're flak and they're gunships and they're weak. So those pilots were definitely paid overtime over there. A couple of broadswords inbound going after this firing line for Team 1. And it will invoke Team 1's MSG to go for more for T3 and T2 AA coverage, at least in the stationary or the mobile department, or probably both, which is usually the case. And things have kind of cooled down on the eastern side. More forces are mounting here for MSG. In the west, it's just tons of skirmishes back and forth. Both of these stealth commanders on the western side here proving very difficult for Team 2 to nail down. Really what they need is just an Omni system online to be able to detect those commanders, which I'm kind of surprised that Team 2 hasn't done yet. I don't see any Omnis for Team 1. I don't even see T2. Oh, there's one back there. I don't see any T2 radar technology. Oh, there's one back here for Okpuk, but the range on that Omni is not great. He needs one over here. Gunships are inbound here from him as well, going after this production facility for Yoji. Lots of AA has been built in the interim, though, to counter this gunship push, but look at this. They're just blitzing down T2 mexes as they fly by. Needs to go after something more concrete, though. Killing up a couple of T2 mexes is great, but going after some more facilities or a comm would be probably even better for him. But they're just destroying everything in their path. And there's no stopping this push, but it looks like he's just going to fall back anyways. Gunship's going after some T1 units. Not really worth the hassle, though. They're behind a couple of wall sections, so it's, again, like I said, not really worth it at the time. Gunships are severely wounded, though, at least some of them, so they have to rep up. And looks like a grouping of attacks here for Team 2 on this eastern side, starting to mount here for Puck Jr. and Okpuck. I could just say Junior and Okpuck, I guess, because that's kind of inferred by the whole Junior. You see in the west, Zum still being bombarded by missile launchers and is really having a hard time just not being able to sit still. I don't blame him. Having to like constantly move your commander because you're getting shot at is very annoying. Team 2's eco is starting not to be able to pull away as much as Team 1's. Of course, Team 1 is catching up. Less than 100 mass per second in favor for Team 2 at 21 minutes. Team 1 overall, 4 players have still been alive. One of them has been killed off in that tri-com engagement over here by Sui, AFK, and Luker, which means Team 2 has 3 players remaining. And for map control, I mean, it's about 50-50, maybe a little bit in favor of Team 1, ever so slightly on this eastern side, because there's been kind of rampaging and skirmishing going on the eastern side for a while now. But there isn't any one favorite to win in terms of map control. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to win this game. And of course, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. And again, as always, thank you so very much for watching, and share this video with anyone, everyone, and most importantly, your pets. We do see a large group of bricks starting to form here. That brick wall getting stronger and stronger for Team 1. The only commanders I will point out that are alive are Cybran. So it's going to be, I mean, they were 4 out of 5 Cybrans anyways, but large focus on the brick wall for Team 1. Of course, I wouldn't be surprised to see a monkey being built somewhere. Yep, there it is for Yoji. It was just started. And in the east, no experimentals as of yet. Of course, the air grids for Team 1 are being expanded upon, more so by MSG more than Mythologist, which I would assume would be the one to go for it. But I guess with dual eco, it does help, or dual base, it does help scale that air grid a lot faster for MSG. In the south, Colossus has been started by Team 2's Okpuck, and that's actually almost done. Second Colossus is almost halfway done here for Junior, and nothing so far here for Zum. Air grid not as expanded as I would imagine it to be, but he's also getting some Team 1 PD to protect himself against the Telemazer possibility, which is again high considering there are 4 Cybran commanders for Team 1, so there are 4 opportunities for Telemazer. All boost MSG or he's dead, says Sui. Don't know what he's talking about. Teleport, says Okpuck. No, it's cloaking. MSG has the nano repair, which means he can go for cloaking. And he's already 50% on the way done there, and that is pretty far forward. But he is underneath a decent amount of AA coverage, and he doesn't have any shields yet. But, you know, that's something easy that can be built for the Cybrans, because those T2 shields are very, very cheap. You see, again, kind of quieted down a little bit. I'm going to speed this game up just a little bit more. Large group of AA forming here in the eastern, as well as a couple of Loyalists to assist. Looks like there is an attack that will mount here pretty shortly. In the west here, a couple of bricks moving up to protect the actual walls that have been built here by Mythologist, and units moving in to intercept. But I feel like the longer this goes on, it will definitely favor Team 2 ever so slightly, because there are Colossus now on the field. That one is done. This one is on its way. Second one hasn't been started as of yet, but that Colossus is going in, and there's really nothing that can stop this for Team 1. That laser is almost done. If he's able to keep it powered, it will stop that Colossus, because there is no Omni on board. But Team 2 is going for it. MSG is getting a bunch of mass here. Still haven't found a way to disable that the nonsense of the click from all of those share mass and energy. But of course, the footsteps can be seen by Team 2, and this is their view currently. They can't see them. That Colossus is losing, again, thousands upon thousands of hit points. All it would take is a couple of spy planes to fly over, and Team 2 will see him. And that Colossus is losing hit points, like I said, very, very quickly. That is not what I meant to do. Is there a spy plane? No, not as of yet. Spy planes are inbound, and Drop Bomber as well to assist, and gunships. I feel like MSG is not long for this world, and that Colossus is dead and gone. Spy plane fires overhead, and Team 2 finds the commander of MSG, but MSG is just racking up the kills here, getting as many shots in as he can. Team 2 Still, it can't see him, but they're ground firing currently, trying to do their best. They're trying to do as much damage to that commander. Gunships are just waiting for an opportunity to go after it. They're now going to ground fire going after that commander. The Calm of MSG is losing hit points very quickly. He's going to die, and there he goes. Team 2 still finds a way. They lose a Colossus in the midst of that, but of course, the Calm is dead, and now there's nobody on this eastern side for Team 2 to govern frontline operations. Noji has pushed in against this western side here. The eastern side of the west here for Team 2. Moving in some offense, moving in to intercept. They're mainly just AA units, but there's a couple of bricks escorting them. Looks like their main goal was going after those broadswords, but broadswords continuing to damage the eastern economic endeavors here for Team 1 and trying to nullify the advantage that Yoji has now have with triple base. Laser has been started here for Mythologist. Maybe he'll go for the teleportation route instead of the cloaking route that his teammate just did. T3 artillery is on the front lines using the walls to protect him. Just because they're mobile doesn't mean they're not walls. That is it's starting to be not necessarily devastating, but again, another one of those instances where just poking and prodding, constantly annoying your opponent, keeping them on their toes, constantly keeping their attention over here instead of microing their main base or going after whatever else their endeavors are for this match. You know, constantly keeping their focus where you want it. That is a strategy to win this game. Lots of T2 mechs is going offline here for Team 1. That eco is being slowly eroded. Team 2 was almost caught up to in terms of the mass income department, but now with the death of MSG, there's not really a lot of governing bodies over here, so it's a lot easier for those gunships to just kind of run amok over here. That's 5 T2 mechs. Some of those are ring, some of those weren't, so that's 18. That's another 8. That's 36 mass. Plus another 27, so let's call it like 30 something there, so probably 70 mass right there. More mechs is on the front line, and more of them are probably going to go down here pretty shortly. So let's say probably about 80 or so mass a second was lost. Team 1 has jumped, which either means Team 2 is having some power issues, or not as of yet here. Oh yeah, Ogpuk is not feeling good on the power department. Of course, he's focused on going after whatever he can on the front lines that have now been pushed back by Team 2. Gunships are retreating, and he's going for more pigeons to try to stave off his energy crisis. More and more artillery being spammed up here by Rampure. He could go for T2 Gunthers, but he wants to go for mobile units, which is, again, very nice because you can move them. The downside is, of course, they're you can't get as efficient because you can't just get them, ringed with T2 power and kind of have them spam up very quickly. But again, the mobility of them definitely is a huge advantage for players trying to siege their opponents. But T1 bombers are outbound, and none of them will break through. I don't think a single bomber was able to deploy its payload. That's just a little bit of mass to scoop up. But again, a little bit is better than nothing. In terms of reclaim overall, Team 2's at 63,000, Team 1 at 43. Some of it just due to the Colossus that was over here. Second Colossus is now online. This time it's under Puck Jr.'s control. And another Colossus is almost about to finish standing up here for Ogpuk. So just massive Colossus spam for Team 2. Surprised, like I said, to not see not many monkeys. We saw one being built earlier on, and there it is over here. But Team 1 not really going for monkeys, or even crabs for that matter. They have the largest range in terms of direct fire or like confrontational units in terms of, I don't count the FAF boy in the land engagement or land FAF experimentals for that kind of like direct fire weaponry. They're designed for more kind of, they're mobile artillery, so they're not really designed for just shooting directly at an opponent. But, the Sirens have the longest range unit in the crab and the most HP for that crab as well. I don't really see them deploying them as much as I think they probably should. At least one player on Team 1 should have them. This monkey is over here constantly walking back and forth, but this Colossus is just slowly rampaging here for Ogpuk. Look, not Ogpuk, Puck Jr., excuse me. Look at how many mexes are gone. These were mostly all under Team 1's control. More mexes are being rebuilt over here, but that's mass, that's energy, that's APM that Yoji is losing and having to spend to recoup his losses. And that Colossus looks like it's going to just go straight for this position. Second monkey is online for Yoji, so 2 monkeys should be enough to stave off 1 Colossus. Colossus is almost at 1 veterancy though, so not a whole lot more hit points that he will get, at least in terms of he gets that 1 star, which he's just about to, and those two monkeys do engage. Colossus needs to retask onto them if you have any hope of fighting. There's a couple of Cerberus PD are nearby, though, and some Harbingers coming in to assist. But I think the hit points on board that Colossus are just slowly being eroded away too quickly for him to stave off death. We might even see those two monkeys survive. Nope. Second veteran team will help stave off death for a couple more seconds. Harbingers are not going to be enough from these two players, but there is a death. Another Colossus is online. And in the west, there's more and more build-up here for Rampire, holding off Team 2's attacks. We do see units moving back and forth. Another monkey online here for Rampire. Is somebody going for a crab? No. Yoji's going for another monkey. No Fat Boys as of yet here for Team 1's Yoji, who has control of some UEF tech now with the death of MSG and Sui. No Fat Boys coming online for Team 2's Puck, and I don't see any... Oh, nope, sorry, there is a chicken that has been built for Zum, so Zum's going to be able to break through that front line against Team 1 here shortly. But I just feel like it's just a lot of... It's not really... There's like definitely bits and points of action, but it's definitely kind of just... Here's a lot of action for a little bit, and then it calms down. Here's a little bit of action, and then it calms down. Which, of course, does happen with games like this. But it's not always a action kind of game. But we do see that front line slowly pushing in. This Colossus going straight for the comm of Mythologist. Team 2 might get another kill here with the Colossus, but that cloaking upgrade is going up very quickly. Transport has been grabbed and immediately destroyed. Monkey moving in to intercede. Is Team 2 just going to go for it? It looks like they will, but there's no vision on board, which means that Mythologist commander will be fine. He has cloaking online and the laser. He won't be spotted. We do see that that monkey is not going to die. Brick actually looks like it was firing at that monkey, though. That's what it looked like. But Team 2 is not able to do much of anything with that Colossus, but they have a little bit of success here with these Harbingers going after some T3 mexes. Just sniping at the ecos for Team 1, just killing off a mex or two, which just really hurts after a while. Team 1 has caught up quite considerably, though, in the mass generation department at 30, I'd say 30 or so mass differential at 32, 33 minutes. No big ticket items there for Team 2. No nukes, no game enders, no artillery, no nothing. Team 1, let's see, do we have anything going for them? No more pigeons, looks like. And that's really about it. Boys being gated in here by Rampire to scale his eco. It looks like there is a sort of counterattack mounting here. Mainly just some T1 Mantis spam and some T3 bouncers to deal with the broadswords that Team 2 is flying around. But we don't see a lot of those deployed anymore. He still has his original ones over here. He hasn't really made anymore since that kill and rampage he had earlier on. In the west, though, we do see that this force from Rampire is slowly moving in. Second chicken about to be built on the front lines. SMD being built as well. And where is that chicken for Team 2's Zum? I saw it. Oh, it's over here, actually. So while this main force from Rampire is moving in, this chicken is doing devastating amounts of damage to Team 1's eco. Now T3 mexes are going offline. There's nothing to protect the commander or these mexes, so it's just open season. And now combined forces from Team 2's Puck Jr. and Zum moving in to intercept the brick wall. And unfortunately for that brick wall, they are outnumbered considerably and is pushed in way too far and has left the western side open for a just amount of damage that Team 1's Rampire is going to have a little bit more time trying to recover from. He is going to start a crab, though, so that's going to help out. But there are some broads, actually no whalers inbound, excuse me, from Mythologist to assist with going after that chicken. But 3 monkeys have now appeared on the eastern side here for Yoji. 1 Colossus, though. Team 2 desperately needs at least 2 more of them, if not at least 1 at a minimum, to stave off that immediate death that will occur here. Chicken still getting lots of work done. 6th Mex is taken offline. Mythologist dropped on the front lines to assist, using that transport to get his comm here a lot faster. Tons of eco going for this crab to force back the chicken. And we do see that some bombers are inbound to assist. They are going to get shot out of the sky very quickly here. But the floodgates are open on this western side here for Team 2 to exploit. And ASF moving in to go after those gunships. The chicken is in full retreat, though. He kind of sees the writing on the wall. It's not really worth sending that experimental in for Team 1 to reclaim. And lots of bricks and harbingers exchanging fire over here. And now we see the Othams moving in. It looks like they're going to go coalesce around the Megalith, which is about to be finished. I'd say that's one of the fastest Megaliths I've ever seen. That was essentially probably all of his eco being funneled into that one project. And now we have 2 attacks, and it definitely warrants splitting the screen once again on the western side here. It's Zum and Puck Jr. versus Rampere, reducing Mythologist with his commander nearby. And in the east, the Monkeys going after that Colossus, which is just running in the face of that incoming wave of units. Crab is online, and that's going to give Team 2 definitely some trepidation about going in. But some gunships moving in are going to get immediately eviscerated in the air department. Is Team 2 going to call forth its air group? And it is. Will it be able to intercept the ASS for Team 1's Ayoji? And it will. This is going to be the first major air fight. If it, oh, does it commence? No. Team 2's Okpuk falls back. Oh, if he just turned around right there, he would have got him. Colossus down here is able to take out one of the monkeys, but the other one survives. And in the west, that Crab is just poking and prodding at front lines for now. And the ASF stopped here for Yoji, and the fight will happen, not underneath some AA coverage, trying to retreat back to it. But it doesn't matter. The majority of the damage is done. Team 2 has air dominance. I wouldn't say supremacy because I haven't done the numbers as of yet, but I would say most likely it is supremacy. Let's see. Okpuk has over 100 ASFs, multiple factions in terms of that. And, of course, for Yoji, he has 34 remaining. So, yeah, that is air dominance for Team 2. Not supremacy, but definitely some dominance here for Okpuk, which means he's probably going to deploy more gunships or some, well, I would say broadswords, but maybe he'll deploy some stingers just to kind of run around a little bit. They are cheaper, of course. Or some strat bombers, because why not? We do see that his teammate of Puck Jr. is going for the Emissary, the best T3 artillery in the game, hands down, full stop. I will not concede with that. It's a dual fire mode, not dual fire mode, but it's initial damage plus it's like secondary pulse damage it does. Very devastating. Very short range on the pulse, but man, when you get hit with one, and you're like, oh, my P-Gen's fine, and then it explodes and destroys half your grid, and you're like, yeah, it was not great. And in the west, that chicken has now got a friend, and it's going after the Crab. The Crab has to turn around because 2v1 is not going to be great, and that Crab is actually focused on other things other than the chickens. The Crab is given orders to retreat, but the damage is already done. The chickens are going to go for it. At least one of them is. One of them is actually going to break off and go for the Monkey Lord over here. Bricks moving in to intercept to try to protect the Crab, but it's not going to be enough. Chicken, of course, has the range advantage on that monkey. Its main laser is not in range as of yet, and that chicken's going to get a lot of damage done, essentially be unscathed before that laser activates. Chicken kills off the other Crab as well, and now a new monkey has emerged, and the bricks have now started to broken through the wall sections, confusing the pathfinding here for those units. I don't see any action so far on the eastern side. And those monkeys are going to just be fuel for the fire here for Team 2. Puck Jr. coming in with his Harbingers to intercept, and that monkey is dead. There's no hope for that monkey. There he goes, right on top of the Crab wreck. That's got to hurt. A couple of damage, of course, will go down to that Crab wreck and make it not as enticing for Team 2, but still they will have control over it. Harbingers can scoop up the reclaim and help finish off the Emissary. Actually, excuse me, the Emissary is already done, so scratch that. So Team 2 has a T3 artillery online. Front line is starting to push more and more here on this eastern side for Yoji. He does have a nuke online, and it is half loaded. We have a nuke for Team 1 and an artillery for Team 2. I don't see any sort of other items like that for either team. And those chickens continuing to press the advantage, going after the chicken that's the Crab that's under construction. Mythologist is nearby, but if Team 2 gets some spy planes overhead, that will kill him. So Team 1's Mythologist has to be very careful with how far he pushes in. This could be a little bit devastating here for Team 1 if he's not careful. You don't see me. Please don't see me, says the Mythologist. Pings do go down. Ground firing will start to commence. Chicken is down. And it does force Mythologist to back up just a little bit. Second chicken is fine, but it's receiving some attack from some gunships from Mythologist. An ASF fight will happen once again. Not that much AA underneath this engagement. There is some, but there's not a whole lot. It looks like it's going to be, I mean, in favor of Akpuk, but it looks like it's not as great as he was probably expecting it to be. But there is some assistance from his teammate. And that second chicken is down. Whereas the crab is still under construction here for Rampere to get that done and finished. That way they can have someone to deploy. It is almost done, though, to be fair. It doesn't have a lot of hit points, though, but it is almost done. But some Harbingers are moving in to try to close out on their construction efforts. You can see that bar is almost done. Oh, that C3 engineers are just trying to keep that thing online. Everything and anything is being thrown at this crab. Even if it doesn't finish right now and the engineers are killed, the experimental will finish. It's just a matter of when it will finish. Nuke is outbound, and okay, where is this nuke going from Team 1's Yoji? It's going south, going for the T3 artillery that's being under construction. There is no SMD. Oh, no. Oh, that's like the first thing you do before you build artillery is you build an SMD. Ooh, that's going to be... Ooh, that's going to hurt. Ooh, let's see. Again, 0 mass, of course, on board that nuke, so it's going to be really easy to count how much mass that this thing killed. Second artillery was already half done. Oh, and there goes the beautiful nuke. Boom! Kills off everything here for Puck Jr., setting him back tens of minutes, maybe 20 or 30 minutes. Actually, I wouldn't say 30, I'd say like 20 minutes. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. And Team 1's Yoji, how much does that net you in terms of stuff killed? And the shield just pops offline, kills off almost the nuke. Oh, that's just 600 hit points. 134,000 mass with one nuke. Best nuke so far. Of course, there's only been one nuke, so it's really easy to have the best nuke when there's only been one fired. That's been a great nuke by Team 1. Of course, SMD built immediately by Akpuk to be like, not dealing with that again. Attacks on the western side once again from Zum. Chicken has been defeated. Ion Storm is going crazy. The crab was finished, it looks like, and then was immediately destroyed. That is a new chicken wreck. So that was, looks like Team 2 Zum just wanted to go for it. Colossus attacked the eastern side. Lots of bricks are trying to stave off just death. One Colossus has been felled, but both monkeys are down. Bricks are being grabbed as they're being focus fired by those lasers. Of course, the Colossus, I mind you, remind me of the robots from the Origins map from COD Zombies. I can't remember. There's like Odin, Thor, and Loki, maybe is what their name. I forget what they're called exactly in that game, but they kind of remind me of that. I mean, it's kind of not hard that they remind me of. They're humanoid. Same with the other one. So anything that has 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, and looks resembling like a human is kind of going to be very easy to have a resemblance. Second Colossus is barreling down on Yoji's defenses. Those Ravagers really giving that to Colossus a hard time. And they're spinning up once again. Cerberus PD trying to do as much tickle damage as they can. Crash damage will kill the first line off. Looks like he's going for the Pigeon. He's going to kill off the Omni satellite, Omni radar system. That's going to hurt. And that Colossus will die, especially with Mythologist transporting his comm over here once again. That's going to be another defensive hold for Team 1 and lots of Reclaim to scoop up. Currently, Reclaim sitting at 200,000 for Team 1 and 170 for Team 2. Of course, that number is going up actually, well, not really that quite fast because the Reclaim is dead and gone from that nuke. Another monkey on the front line here for Team 1's Rampere. And it's definitely now a back and forth here. That nuke surviving is going to be devastating for Team 1. And, devastating for Team 2 and great for Team 1. And its hit points have already ripped up back into the yellow. That's what is nice about getting veterancy for these structures and whatnot, is that they can regen passively. Of course, the Sirens regen naturally anyways, but kind of a nice boost to that regen. And another emissary will be started here pretty shortly by Puck Jr., but Team 2 doesn't really have any big-ticket items anymore. Of course, they're building SMDs to counter the nuke. This one is half loaded. This one is not really loaded. Looks like Puck Jr. might be the target if Team 1 does go after something on that side of the map. Zum is perfectly fine, though. Has an SMD and almost a second missile loaded. But I don't see any efforts for Team 1 to go for long-range artillery or game enders or any sort of that thing. Oh, no, never mind. There is an artillery planned by Mythologist. That's really about it. Team 2 is winning the land game on this western side, though, constantly pushing in. But there's a lot of reclaim being dumped on Team 1's side of the map, though. Team 2 has to be very careful with how much more they throw at this, because, again, those numbers are skyrocketing. Almost 300,000 for Team 1. Thousands of mass being scooped up per second is a lot of mass. Team 2 is at 1.4k mass income, though. They might just be thinking of overwhelming Team 2 in just whatever they can. Assistance here for Puck Jr. and Okpuck going after one singular artillery installation. They're getting some shields online as well to protect against any sort of rampaging nonsense that may occur. SMD will load in time for that nuke to be fired from Team 1, and that nuke will not be loaded, but a second artillery has been started by Yoji. So Team 1's going to have 2 artillery online very shortly, which can change the landscape quite quickly. And Team 1 Bomber is going after a Megalith. Won't do a lot of damage, but, you know, something is better than nothing. Is there anything being built by Team 2 Zum? He's built a lot of PD to protect himself. Chicken is coming online. More pigeons to compensate for the amount of power that is required. But not really very big air grids here for Team 2's Puck Jr. We see a little bit of an air grid setup here for Team 1's Yoji and Mythologist, but not really a big one. The main focus has just been on land, which is very surprising given this is a 5v5 game. ASFs are going to engage, kill off one of those ASFs from Team 1, but looks like an air scout or something actually got shot out of the sky by some missiles by Team 1. So I think that was the monkey that fired it, or maybe the bouncers. Spy planes are going to get caught, but that's not really a huge concern. ASF moving in, maybe they thought those were strap bombers, but they're moving too quickly. Another Colossus is online. Team 2, you do have an Omni over here, so that is something. Team 1 land spam is on the cards here for Zum. The Zooey spam has occurred, and that is something that I will probably do for one of my campaigns, is just Team 1 artillery spam. Maybe I'll do it for the Aeons. Don't think the Fervors have hover. The SMD has been loaded just in time, though. That nuke will be denied by Team 2's Okpuck and Puck Jr. The artillery for the emissary is almost done. That's, again, 2 players eco being diverted to that builds it very, very quickly here. And it is outbound. There it goes. Going to be shot down. Colossus is just being bombarded by a monkey and some whalers. It's being wailed on quite heavily. Team 2, that is my joke for the day. That's my dad joke for the day, is it's being wailed on by whalers. And there goes the Colossus. Another set of reclaim for Team 1 to scoop up. And that emissary most likely will fire on that nuke, which it will be. It's going after also the disruptor that's being built. Not a lot of shield coverage here for Team 1's Yoji, though. That's a little bit concerning, especially with the emissary. And that artillery will finish. This one over here to the east by Mythologist is being built as we speak. And shots still have not been fired. Oh, there they go. And the first shots are away. Of course, it's getting full adjacency from these pigeons, so it can fire as quickly as it's able to. Incoming artillery, says MSG, and the artillery has already taken some damage due to the pigeon that exploded nearby. Second shot, if it lands nearby, will probably be the end of this little settlement, what are we going to call this? There go a couple of pigeons. One goes down, shield goes down. The artillery is still alive, though. And that nuke is definitely the bigger target in that arrangement. Shields are going to be just ripped apart. Cybern shields aren't great. They're fine. They're not the best, but they're fine. Looks like the artillery for Team 1's focusing on the air grid for Okpuck. Second artillery has been started by Okpuck as well. And he's going to get some assistance from Puck Jr. on that realm. But I think now it's going to transition to the T3 long-range artillery game. Shields being rapidly deployed as fast as possible. I guess that's rapidly deployed, I guess what that word means. I can English good, I swear. It's my first language. And yeah, it is targeting Puck Jr. Actually, Puck Jr. is just sitting here, but it's targeting the air grid for Okpuck. More shields are being deployed by him to deter incoming firepower. Shield is holding, but not going to be holding for very much longer. And it's not really... I mean, it's looking pretty fine here for the artillery for Team 1's Yoji, but Shields, I mean, they're being upgraded, which will assist with that. Second artillery is half done for Mythologist. Second artillery for Team 2 is almost half done. Now, like I said, on the eastern and the western side, it's kind of just been very much skirmishing. There's a decent effort of forces on this eastern side to go after resourcing options for Puck Jr. There is also a nuke been built and half loaded already for some. Shields are collapsing, though. Oh, there needs to be more engineers over here to assist with the construction. Oh, goes with that shield. That's going to hurt. This is a T31, has a little bit better range on it. This one needs to regen faster. Oh, but it's going to get shot anyways. It's not doing great here for Team 2's air grid. The shields are holding here for Team 1, but just barely. Colossus is being deployed to intercept the monkeys. Monkeys just went for the Trimex and fell back. The air grid is still fine for Team 2. I hear more chickens firing. They went after a group of more experimentals here for Team 1 Grand-Pierre. Chicken is down. Crab will go down. But the monkey is going to run into the ion storm. It needs to go a little bit more northward to avoid it. And some bricks are being caught up in the storm as well. Chicken just trying to draw that monkey into range. Or into range of the ion storm at least. But just barely out of range of that rogue ion storm. Looks like the artillery has now shifted to the artillery from Team 2's Puck Jr. Second artillery almost done here for Team 2. Second artillery is almost done for Team 1. And shields are being heavily assisted just to keep them online. And that nuke is really close to being loaded once again. We see those forces on the front line just scooping up as much mass as they can. Team 1 at 1.3k, Team 2 at 1.5k. And it's only going to be a matter of time before one group of shielding collapses. More shields being deployed here by Puck Jr. to protect that emissary. Looks like the emissary is actually diverted its focus. No, I think it's still focused on that. This looks like it's going after this now. Which, yeah, it is. And T3 artillery has been finished and is now being deployed against the base here for Yoji. See, the emissary shot is inbound, and the Duke is actually... Oh, it's actually lining up over there. Nuke is going to launch and is going after this. It's going to nuke the reclaim and the engineering efforts. This chicken, if it goes any further, will die, but I feel like he's going to fall back. I don't know if it'll catch a whole lot in its web. The monkey looks like it might get out of range, but actually might just walk into range. Never mind. Actually, it just stops moving, and it's because it's dead anyways. There's still some mass to scoop up here for Team 1 and Team 2, but it looks like with the monkeys nearby, Team 2 might have that. There is, of course, a crab also online. But second artillery is online for Team 1's Mythologist. And Nuke is outbound. The Nuke is killed. The SMD is killed off here by this monkey outbound from Mythologist. Great move by him. Just sending it forward. Oh, that's going to hurt. There's no secondary SMD in the base here. There is one right here, and it will be loaded in time. Or it is loaded, I should say, and it will cover it. Oh, that was almost close here for Team 1's Yoji. You can see the nuke's going to go right into range. The monkey is still online. He has a chance. The SMB fires, kills off the nuke. The P-Gens are being the focus. T2 PD being deployed very quickly. Gets a rank in veterancy. It might be enough to stave off death, and it will be to kill off the emissary from Team 2's Puck Jr. That's the second time it's built, and that's the second time it's been killed. Devastating for Team 2. Just absolutely devastating. I feel like now they should focus on this one over here. That one's being heavily assisted, so you're not going to break through the shielding. Oh, that's just very, very close. Of course, it can be rebuilt a lot easier due to the wreck still being here, but all of these engineers have to deploy to deal with it. And now it looks like the artillery is retasked onto the air grid, but in the interim, when it fired on that emissary, more shields have been deployed. We see an attack in the east here by Yoji with some whalers outbound from Team 1's Mythologist. And it's just going to be a matter of time between either one side falls or the other. There's a lot of units here. There's also a couple of Colossus moving, and a couple being 3 of them. There's a lot of T3 support, though, and some gunships as well, so it's not going to be an easy fight for those Colossi. Looks like another Duke has been started, and explosion will commence here in the middle of Zum's base. Looks like it was wait, Akbak controlled this game. Wait, what happened? Looks like he had to go or something. And now everything transferred over to Zum, and Puck Jr. also follows suit. And it is now a 3v1 that could have, I mean, Team 2, I mean, they're still in it. They're not out of it. But now it just comes down to, can Zum micromanage everything, be able to stave off death? I feel like if Okpuk and Puck Jr. didn't leave, Team 2 might have a chance at this. The engineers need to be retasked. Team 2's Zum now producing 1.4k mass income. Chicken's pushing forward. This is the weaker side for Team 1 to defend, and at the same time, of course, this is the weaker side for Team 2 to defend. There are 3 Colossus waiting for orders, a bunch of T3 units. Looks like the emissary is still not being built. How's Zum's eco? How's his bar? It's completely filled. He's got to spend it. He has over 100,000 mass in his bar. You got to spend that mass there. And I think it's just going to come down to, can he just micro everything? Oh, it's going to land. Killing off some pigeons. And there goes the emissary. Devastating. Devastating. Team 1 is looking in a pretty good way to win this game. So many engineers over here to protect that nuke and the disruptor. Second disruptor over here. Don't know how we can win this game, says Yoji. And Team 2 just throws in the towel and goes, I can't micro it. Just never give up, says Sui. And that is that's the last bit of advice here in the chat box. Team 1 wins the game pretty much due to just war of attrition. I feel like Team 2 was kind of just done with the game at that point. And Team 1 just won through just force of grit. I mean, again, the saving grace was that the nuke did not go offline. Granted, the nuke wasn't that. The first nuke was very important. The second and third and fourth nuke, not as much. But the first nuke was the most important. 135,000 mass was killed. Killed off the emissary that was built. Forced Team 2 to rebuild it. Second nuke was also under fire when Zum left. And I feel like, again, Team 2 just kind of just, once those 2 players left, or once that emissary was killed, I think Okpuk was like, okay, I'm done. And MVPs for this game, I mean, I think I got to give it to, I think Mythologist, with his transporting his comm back and forth a lot, helping front lines where he needed to, really assisting either the East or the West. I think that might give me MVP. Of course, Yoji, had the very, very, very good nuke, got the first artillery online, held the eastern side after MSG fell, was assisting a little bit on the West, but mainly focused on the East. I feel like with Mythologist assists constantly in the air and, going for gunships, I think he gets MVP, but that's just me saying I think the assisting was what kept Team 1 afloat. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or not. Of course, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching to the end of the video. And of course, I will see all of you in the next one.